Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a rematch.
We doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything a boss about. Not putting work and gotta.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a rematch. Not necessarily a championship game rematch, but a rematch of Stuttgart Surge Vienna Vikings from 2 years ago. Right? This is going to be a great game. Obviously, Stuttgart beat in Munich, Vienna beat in Nordic, and now they meet in Stuttgart. Right? Let's talk a little bit about this game, headlines, what to expect. All right. You talk a little bit about the Surge, the season they had, not really being tested in the season, really showing who the Surge are in the playoffs, right? They're a team that is physical on defense. 8 sacks just shows the potential of the defensive line we all thought we were going to see all year long, right? Riley Hennessy playing some of his best ball. Big Cognac. Every time Big Cognac starts dancing, he's undefeated, right? Raheem Wilson, right? Saving his best performance for when it matters the most. Locking down Aaron Cruikshank, locking down Malik Stanley, right? These guys are going home as an away team to play for a championship for the second time in the franchise history, right? You think about Vienna Vikings on the other side. Now, we got to have a discussion, right? Is the greatness, the stability, the success that Vienna has had, right, more impressive than becoming a 2-time champ for the Rhine Fire or any other champ, right? You got to think about that, right? The success this team has had since joining the ELF, right? And now getting in the championship game again. Kudos to the Vikings. Kudos to how they develop talent, front office, organization, right? This is a team that's had 4 different offensive coordinators in 4 years, 3 different quarterbacks in 3 years, right? 3 different quarterbacks in 4 years, right? Ben Holmes been the most successful ELF Vienna Viking at quarterback, right? The Vienna Vikings are a staple, not just in European football, but in the ELF, right? We always talking about, they play in the East, but they dominate. They dominated Paris. They split with Rhine, right? They split with Rhine. They dominate their rivals in the Tier Raiders year in, year out. Now these two teams match up in Stuttgart to play each other. All right. You think about the storylines, Riley Hennessy versus Ben Holmes, both quarterbacks who could potentially be playing their last game in the ELF. We don't know if they're coming back or not. Both a little bit on the older end, right? You talk about Jordan Newman and Chris Kaleke, coaches that coach with each other, right? Coaches that have similar backgrounds, coaches that know each other very well. Jordan Newman has the edge over him in winning over Kaleke in that game, in that semifinals game a couple years ago that sent Stuttgart to the Surge, sent Stuttgart to the championship, who would eventually lose to Rhine Fire. Speaking of Rhine Fire, both these two teams, last time they were in the championship game, they lost to the Rhine Fire. So what does that mean? One of them is finally going to get a championship game. I'm excited for it. You think about the defense for the Vienna Vikings, right? A defense that's been stingy. You think about a front that's been gritty, right? You think about O-linemen on both sides, a veteran group, right? A veteran group on the Vienna side, a veteran group on the Stuttgart side, right? You think about these two teams and, what they've been able to accomplish. We've already talked about the success that Vienna has had since joining the league. What about Stuttgart, who went 2-20 in their first 2 years before the Jordan Newman team era came in and flipped the script on everyone? Right? This is going to be such an interesting championship game, right? Locker room, you know how this works. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. You think about the matchups. That Surge secondary versus that Vienna Vikings receiving core, right? This is going to be the most athletic defense Vienna's going to have to play, because nobody plays with more DBs on the field that are capable of stopping the run than the Stuttgart Surge. We already talked about their front, right? You talk about a matchup between offensive coordinator Nick Johnson of the Vienna Vikings going up against co-defensive coordinators Johannes Brenner and Cody Passerino, right? You think about, we already talked about Jordan Newman and Kaleke going at it, right? What about Kai Hunter, who may be the best running back in this game? That's right, I said Kai Hunter may be the best running back in this game, right? That's including Kari, that's including Tommy Awewu, right? Mike Harley Jr. had the game of his life versus Munich, right? I can't forget about 7. Louis Geyer. Oh, but Vienna got some dogs too. Reese Horn, Beer Bomber, Torre, Yannick Meyer, who's playing his old team, left Stuttgart to go to Vienna. He would have been in this game either way. This is going to be such an interesting matchup. Right? How does the Stuttgart move on that Vienna defense? Does Vienna play a little bit less aggressive, right, to try to keep everything in front, right? Is Devon Buckman going to match up on Mike Harley Jr.? Who's covering Florian Bierbaumer? Is it going to be Mitch Fettig, right? Man, this is going to be an awesome game. Locker room, you know how this works. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this game because this is going to be an awesome, awesome game.